Good afternoon. This week's Parsha is Parshas Pinchas. Pinchas is honored because he took matters in his own hand and he saw that there was a great Chilul Hashem, a great desecration of God's name. People were worshiping idolatry when they came to foreign women. The women got them to worship idols, and this became very, very dangerous for the Jewish people. In fact, people started dying in the plague. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe that they're supposed to judge these people for serving idols. And most of them were from the tribe of Shimon. They went to their leader and they said, Moshe is going to be judging us, and we're going to wind up dead, and we're going to wind up being executed. Do something about it. So Zimri, instead of getting them to do tshuva, went ahead and said it's okay. And he did something which was very vulgar publicly, because it says there's no, it's not even, at that time it wasn't even rabbinically prohibited. So it wasn't prohibited by the rabbis. What's wrong with it? So the point is, though, it's wrong because it was public, and besides that, when a Jewish man marries a non-Jewish lady, the children are not Jewish, and this takes Jewish children who are supposed to be serving the Creator, serving God, away from the Torah, away from God, because they're not obligated to do the Torah. So he's taken Jewish children, which is the greatest blessing that a person could have, and he's taking them away from the Rebbeinu Shalom. This is considered a terrible sin, and such a person is punished in heaven for such a thing. And when a person does so publicly, and then people who are upset are allowed to go ahead and take revenge from him. Anyway, Pinchas did that publicly. He killed Zimri, and in the process he also killed Cosby, who was the Midianite princess. And Pinchas is venerated. Pinchas is given honor. In fact, he becomes the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, and all the high priests subsequently are the children of Pinchas, because he did an act of violence against a sinner. Similarly, the Philistines, the Plishtim, were attacking the Bnei Yisrael. They're harming not just their property, but they made it dangerous for them to live, because by attacking them and taking away their food, people starved to death. And they caused a lot of Jewish people to die, both directly and indirectly. And this became for generations, they became the enemies, the major enemies of Klal Yisrael. So Shimshon looked for a way that he could get close to them and fight with them. Because you just don't start a fight. Why should you start a fight? What right do you have to start a fight? But by getting close to them, by marrying into them, and they started embarrassing him and fighting with him, so he was able to fight with them, and he was able to attack them and defeat them and beat them. And then when things got out of hand, there was a very, very big confrontation with him. He killed 1,000 of them. So Pinchas killed 1,000 of them using the jawbone of a donkey. It says he took a jawbone, a bone of the jaw of a donkey, and he kept on, and they were attacking him, and he killed them, and they kept on coming after him. They all wanted to kill him, and he killed them because he was a very, very, very quick and very resourceful, and he was able to destroy many enemies and stay alive. So Shimshon is honored, Pinchas is honored, and there was a situation where someone went ahead and killed a lot of goyim, at the Ma'oras HaMachpelah. His name was Dr. Boruch Goldstein. And Boruch Goldstein killed 29 Arabs and injured over 100. And they went and tried to save themselves, and they attacked them and killed them. Boruch Goldstein has many detractors. Most people say that he was a terrible person. He was a mass murderer. There are some people who believe that he was a hero, just like Pinchas and Samson. So the question is Boruch Goldstein a person to venerate and honor, like Pinchas, or is he a person to shun? What's the difference between a Pinchas and a Samson and Boruch Goldstein? If it's the number of people killed, Samson killed many more. Samson killed more than 4,000 Plishtim in his lifetime. So how do you figure that Boruch Goldstein, who only killed 29, is such a terrible person? Samson is a great man. These are thoughts that people have. How do we understand this? So the answer is as follows. Let's say you're in a battle, you're in war, and somebody's coming to kill you, and you have to shoot at them, and you kill them. And let's say there's 1,000 of them, there's only one of you. Should you say, listen, there's only one of me, and there are 1,000 of them, I should give up, or let myself get killed, because it's not, if I kill 1,000 of them, that's not right. 1,000 people die and I get saved. It doesn't work that way. You have an obligation to stay alive, and you have an obligation to defend your country. So a person who's in a war, in a battle, and they're coming to kill you, you have a right to kill them first. You don't wait until it's a fair fight. If they're fighting you, if they're engaged in a war against you, and you can sneak up behind them and kill them first, that's what you do in a war. Because in a war, you're permitted to kill the person who's trying to attack you. Furthermore, with Pinchas was standing there right next to Moshe, and he told Moshe, the halacha is that in such a case, if a person is upset that a person is doing a violation of God's law publicly, you're allowed to go ahead and punish him, even if it means his death. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, you're right, I said such a thing. You're reading a letter. If you're reading a letter that nobody else read, so it's your obligation to go ahead and to fulfill what the letter says. So he went ahead and he took care of Zimri. But he did so because Moshe Rabbeinu was standing there, and he knew that this was according to the Jewish law. Similarly, Samson knew the halacha. Samson knew that the Plishtim were enemies, sworn enemies, and they were trying everyone, they was always trying to destroy Jews. So Pinchas al pi Torah understood that if you have an enemy that's trying to kill you and that's constantly coming to kill you, you have an obligation to kill him first. And so, since there was a chazokah, it was assumed that every single of the Plishtim was an enemy of the Jews. That's what happened in those days. They all were involved in trying to kill Jews. So Samson was allowed to kill them first. He found a way to get behind them, he found a way to catch them, and he killed them first, before they could go ahead and attack the Yisrael. But Samson was a judge. Samson was the halachic authority, and he knew that according to the Torah, he was permitted to do so. Dr. Boruch Goldstein did this on his own. No halachic authority gave him the right to do what he did. The fact that there are people who want to say that he was a martyr, that he did so out of belief and love for Klal Yisrael, may be true. But just because you love Klal Yisrael doesn't mean you can go ahead and make a Chilul Hashem. You can make it appear that we are killers just like them. Remember, not all Arabs want to kill you or are trying to kill you. Not every Arab is trying to kill you. A lot of Arabs don't want to kill you. A lot of Arabs don't believe in the whole business. So you can't just go ahead and assume that they're going to go ahead and attack you and you're allowed to kill them, whoever they are, wherever they gather. In the time of Shimshon, all of the Philistines, all the Plishtim, were involved in attacking Jews. That was the way they tried. They behaved. They behaved that they were very, very vicious. They were very, very militaristic. And any place and any time there was a group that was different from them, they attacked them. That was how they lived. So Shimshon knew that if he doesn't attack them, they're going to attack him. They're going to attack Klal Yisrael. So in order to do that, in order to avoid that, he attacked them first. But here, not every one of those people who were in that mosque, who were in the, it's called the hall, Yitzchak's hall, where Yitzchak and Rivka are buried supposedly, or are buried underneath there. So in that hall, Lav Dafka, it's not necessary that those people were actually trying to kill Klal Yisrael. And furthermore, whenever you have such a Maisa, you have to understand what the repercussions are going to be. Killing people who are praying, killing children who are praying, who are not attacking you at the time, does not look kosher in front of the eyes of people, and this will make a black eye for Klal Yisrael. It will make it difficult for Jews to live elsewhere, and people will call for revenge. So Boruch Goldstein did this act on his own, without understanding what was going to happen afterwards, without somebody responsible saying that you're allowed to do this. In the time of Shimshon, there was no other way. He had to go ahead and clean up as many possible, and by doing that, they were afraid of starting up. After Shimshon, for a while, the Plishtim stopped killing Jews, stopped attacking Jews. But in the case of Boruch Goldstein, he didn't stop attacking Jews. They made it worse. He made it worse. And he made it worse in the eyes of the Goyim, in the eyes of the press. People said that Jews are just the same as the Arabs. The Arabs murder people. Jews also murder people. Varai Boruch Goldstein. And Boruch Goldstein was a Jew with a beard, as a frum guy with a yarmulke, with tzitzis. So they equated Jewish people with murdering Arabs. But Boruch Goldstein did so without permission, without a halachic authority, and you're not allowed to do things on your own without a halachic authority. You're not allowed to, certainly not allowed to kill people, and you're certainly not allowed to go ahead and do it in a way that would make all of Klal Yisrael look bad. So that's my understanding, the difference between Boruch Goldstein and Pinchas. Pinchas did so in front of Moshe. He had the authority behind him, as did